Hey Ruby, I am deciding to make some sourdough English muffins today, and I know that you said you like them, so I decided to do a little video for you. This right here is my sourdough starter, but I'm going to empty this and make it all fresh and feed it before I make my dough. Okay, so I emptied out the starter for the most part, but you can still see there's some at the bottom. That stuff is alive and will eat up the new flour and water that I put in there and will grow. So I'm gonna put about 50 grams of whole wheat flour in there because it likes the nutrients in whole wheat flour better than all-purpose. All right, that looks like 55 grams. So I'll do the same with water, get about 110 grams. Get some Brita water. Good enough. All right, so I just fed my starter, and the rubber band there shows where it is starting from. And in a few hours, it's gonna grow and double in length. So you can totally see how a couple hours later, this is definitely growing, right? Like it's now at this level. So I'm gonna move my rubber band up a little bit. It has doubled in size, right? I've raised the rubber band to there, and you can see the bubbles, the gas bubbles of the yeast eating up the fresh flour. Alrighty, now that my starter has doubled, I'm gonna mix it together with some water and honey and gonna get the dough started. I got a bowl on the scale. I do like 300 grams of water. I'm gonna use some filtered water. Oh, 302, great. And now I need 150 grams of the starter. Let's see how this sucker comes out. Look at that starter. A nice, come on. It's all goopy. 2 tablespoons of honey. 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Then you gotta whisk it together. This is my handy dandy flat whisk. Here I go. Now the honey isn't only for a little bit of extra sweetness and caramelization when you cook it. The honey is also for the yeast because the yeast loves to eat sugar. Don't we all? Now I need 525 grams of all-purpose flour. Now I'm going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of salt into this. Now I mix together this flour salt mixture with this yeast, water, oil, and then, not my favorite, time for me to mix this up and with my hand so I can really feel where the flour is kind of hiding in a pocket to make sure I get a nice ball of dough that is consistent in its texture. But I also like to use this dough scraper so I can really get the dough off the sides and start to fold the flour over it. Really start making this ball. And after mixing all that liquid and dough together and scraping it off the sides, you basically get a ball of dough. And I think we're gonna let it sit for at least 8 hours. It's got to triple or quadruple in size. We'll let it hang out for the day. All right, it's been 8 hours and the dough has risen, and we're gonna go through the next steps. Oh yeah, I shaved too a little bit. Gonna sprinkle my surface with flour and then some flour on top of that too. Next step is getting this dough flipped over and onto this. And there it is, slightly deflated. I'm gonna pull it out, stretch it a little bit. I'm gonna flip it over on itself. That is one side flipped over. I'm doing this way because I need 2 hands. That is 2 sides flipped over. And now I'm gonna take this and put it on my baking sheet over there. There's the dough flipped over on the baking sheet. All right, the next step is I'm taking a rolling pin, gonna put some oil on it. I'm gonna start rolling this dough. This is gonna be hard with one hand, so I'll just do a little bit. Yeah, this is impossible with one hand. I'm gonna keep rolling. All right, now it's rolled out a bit. And I'm going to take some saran wrap and oil that up, place it over the dough, and then leave it in the fridge overnight where it will ferment some more, get some good flavor, sourdough flavor, and then we'll cut them out tomorrow morning, the muffins. There it is, saran wrap on the dough. Gonna put it in the fridge overnight. Alrighty, looks like my dough has been sitting in the fridge overnight, and when you do that, it gets a little bit more sourdough flavor. Heating up my cast iron pan, kind of medium-low heat. Heat this sucker up, and start cutting out English muffin rings. Alright, looks like I'm supposed to put a little bit more flour on the top, make it even. And now, start cutting out some rings. All right, I got 4 rings right now. My pan's heating up. Time to pull them out, put them on the pan. Here we go. Set the timer for, I think, 7 minutes. Timer went off. These look a little puffy. Time to flip. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, starting to get a little golden. Another 6 minutes. Timer went off again. Supposedly these are done. Let's see. Oh yeah, that looks like an English muffin. And then I'm going to repeat. I'm going to put a little bit more oil in the pan and go make a few more dough muffin circle things. There we go, another 4 to go. This time I rotated the pan every couple of minutes to see if I would get a little more even on the bottoms. Oh, that looks nice. That looks nice. That looks nice. And that looks nice. And there you have it. I'm gonna cook it for another 6 minutes. Alarm went off. Let's see how these turned out. Oh, look at that. Probably a little bit more well done, but that's fine. And then the next step is you got to put the English muffins in a Ziploc bag, and it steams itself a little bit for an hour, so it gets a little soft as opposed to crunchy, which is what you want from an English muffin. And there you go. Right now I got 8 English muffins in here, a couple of them for you, Ruby. And we're gonna let this sit for an hour and then poke some holes in them, but they're basically done. And here are the English muffins after an hour of sitting in that bag. And now I'm going to perforate these all around so they're easy to rip apart when we want to eat them. And that is it. That's how they look on the inside, and they look pretty good. A lot of nooks and crannies there. I'm just gonna eat it now. Totally plain, not toasted, no butter, just to get that. Really good, chewy, and it's got this great sourdough taste. I think you'll like them. Bon appetit.